The first person we're going to talk to tonight was someone that you have heard about in the Bible. But before we get into the show, I want to go back to the backstory. It's a story that you've probably all heard. You've heard many times in your life. And to give us a background of what we're going to talk to, I'm going to read this. And it takes me back, and probably for the same as you. I remember every Christmas Eve we'd come home from the Christmas program. We'd get our pajamas on, we'd go down in the living room, and we'd be sitting there either on the chair or on the floor. And Dad would sit in an easy chair. And every Christmas Eve, before we could open presents, this is what we heard. In those days, a decree went out from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be enrolled. This was the first enrollment when Quirinius was governor of Syria. And all went to be enrolled, each to his own city. And Joseph also went up from Galilee, from the city of Nazareth to Judea, to the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David, to be enrolled with Mary, his betrothed, who was with child. And while they were there, the time came for her to be delivered. And she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn. And in that region there were shepherds out in the field, keeping watch over their flocks by night.
Said the night wind to the little lamb, do you hear what I hear, what I hear? Off in the distance, little lamb, do you hear what I hear, what I hear? The trees, the leaves are talking to me as nature rings and the birds sing. Listen, and you will hear. Listen, and you will hear. Said the little lamb to the shepherd boy, do you see what I see, what I see? A glow in the valley low. Do you see what I see, what I see? The town, it sleeps, but a fire it's not, with a glow as big as the sea, with a glow as big as the sea.
Our first guest tonight is an eyewitness to this wondrous event that happened, one of the shepherd boys. And I'm really curious. When I grew up, we had sheep, but they were in a barn or a real close pasture. What's your job as a shepherd?
Well, after they've lambed, we take them up into the summer pasture, up into the mountains. And it was a funny year, really different. It was about 9 months ago that we took them up there, but it was very warm. Lots of rain, seems like the grass grew forever up there. So we stayed up there a little bit longer than we normally do.
And so that was a ways in advance. What made you first think tonight was going to be different?
Yeah, and you look back on things sometimes, and you don't realize what was happening at the time it was happening. I like the night watchman because I like to sit around at night and it's just calm, so peaceful. You get to be about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and everything is totally silent. All the animals are silent, the sheep are quiet, the wind dies down.
Very peaceful time of the night.
Oh, always. But then something odd happened. I don't know, and you said you had some sheep, but you remember, can you think back at the sound ewes make right after they lamb? It's a funny sound, and they will do that for probably the first 2 weeks of the life of that lamb. Well, these guys that all land last spring, we're now getting cold. We got to bring them down. And I heard one make that sound. Well, there shouldn't be any lambs. And then another one. And another one. And pretty soon the whole herd was making their individual sounds that they make to their own lambs when they are born. And I got the rest of the shepherds up and we just started listening and said, what is going on? Well, and then they quit. But then the wind picked up. And yet it didn't. We felt no wind. But up in the trees, the leaves started to just got really loud. And then it quit. And then the birds start. They don't start singing until just before sunrise. Why are they singing? All the birds. It was like a chorus out there. I've never heard so many different birds all at the same time. There's really something going on, you know. And because it got us up, we started looking around and we looked down into the valley and there was this glow down there. Something really must be going on.
Yeah, what did you feel like? What came next? What was the thing that really got you going?
Well, we got talking. Is it like, what's going on? Is the town on fire? Is it? But it didn't spread, so it couldn't be on fire. And something has to be going on down there. And I got kind of an inquisitive mind. We need to get down there now. But it's dark. One of the other shepherds said, hey, we can go. There's not a problem. The old ewes, they know the way, and the other ones will follow. It's a simple trail. Yes, it'll take us the rest of the night to get down there, but it'll be fine. Just as sure as anything, we got the old ewes going, we started walking, and everybody followed on behind. Sheep are followers. They all follow wherever the first one goes. If they get out of a fence, everybody else follows. But they always know where they're going to happen. So we just headed on down. And we made it down by morning. And we headed toward Bethlehem.
What was your overall summarize? What was your overall feeling?
There was a warmth inside. It was different. It's hard to explain to anybody. If you weren't there, it's hard to really understand. But I felt warm, I felt excited, I felt scared, I felt all the emotions you possibly could have all at the same time, and that is weird.
That's amazing. Well, thank you very much for your time and your insights into this. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Now, since we're talking about the first Noel, the first Christmas, and we just heard from our first guest, let's do verse 2 of the first Noel.